Hey friends, my name's Amy, and today we're making a German chocolate cake for a friend's birthday. Happy birthday, you know who you are. But first, did you know that a German chocolate cake is not German? It's from Texas, originally created by a homemaker in Dallas named Lucy Clay. But it was named after Samuel German, who developed a mild dark chocolate for the Baker's Chocolate Company that she used in the recipe. It was originally called German's chocolate cake, but was eventually shortened just to German, which is what causes all the confusion. So since Mrs. Clay created a truly magnificent and timeless baked confection, let's get cooking. Start by preheating the oven to 375 degrees and ensure that the rack is in the middle position. Grease two 9-inch cake pans with either oil or butter, and I like to put a round of parchment paper down as well so it's much easier to get the cake layers out later. Now for the dry ingredients. In a large bowl, add 2 cups of granulated sugar, 1 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 1/2 teaspoons each of baking powder and baking soda, and a teaspoon of salt. Give this a good whisk to combine everything and set this to the side. Then stand in your kitchen for a minute until you remember that you're making a chocolate cake and add 3/4 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder. Stir that up so the cocoa powder is fully incorporated, and now set the dry ingredients to the side. In a medium-sized bowl, pour in a cup of buttermilk, a 1/2 cup of a neutral oil, 2 eggs, and I cracked them in a separate bowl so any eggshells were easier to get out. Add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract and then whisk all this together very well so everything is fully incorporated. Pour the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients and mix well until everything is combined and not lumpy before adding the last ingredient, because the last one is the weird one. Pour in 1 cup of boiling hot water in small increments, stirring after each addition. Adding the boiling water blooms the cocoa powder, essentially releasing its full flavor. It also hydrates the flour better than the cold buttermilk and starts the chemical reaction of the baking powder and the soda faster, which results in a lighter, softer, more tender cake. Now when it's done, the batter is going to look very thin, but that's exactly what we want. When everything is fully combined, pour the batter into the cake pans as evenly as you can. I started by using a cup since this is a really thin batter and I didn't want to spill it everywhere. When the batter is evenly split between the 2 cake pans, pop them in the oven and bake them at 375 for 25 to 35 minutes or until the toothpick inserted into the center comes out clean. There may be a few crumbs on the toothpick, but what we're looking for is the cake to be just set, so no wet batter. Let the cakes cool in the pans for about 5 minutes, and then we're going to invert them onto wire racks to cool completely. And here is where we need to be very careful. These cakes are extremely tender and delicate, and they fall apart really easily. So place a rack on top of the cake and gently but quickly flip it so the cake comes out of the pan onto the rack. Now the cake will be upside down, but don't give in to temptation to flip it right side up because it'll just fall right apart, and that would be really sad. Once both cakes are upside down on the racks, let them cool completely before making frosting and assembling the cake. We can make the coconut topping / filling while the cake's cool because this needs to have cooling time also. In a medium saucepan, add a 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, a 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar, a 1/2 cup of butter, and it'll melt faster if it's cut into pats or it's cubed. Pour in 3/4 cup of evaporated milk like from the can, a tablespoon of vanilla extract, and 3 egg yolks only. Stir this up and heat it over low heat until the mixture comes to a boil. Stir this a lot so it doesn't scorch, and if you have any pieces of egg that try to scramble, make sure to pull them out. My yolks did just fine, but the little white tendril thingies became little white egg pieces in my sauce, so I made sure to fish them out as I saw them. When the sauce is bubbly, let it simmer for several minutes, stirring constantly until it starts to thicken. Then pull it right off the heat and add in 1 cup of shredded sweetened coconut and 1 cup of chopped pecans. Stir everything up so the coconut and pecans are evenly distributed, and then set this to the side to cool completely like the cakes. When the cakes and the coconut sauce are 100% cool, we'll whip up our chocolate frosting. In a medium to large bowl, melt a half cup of butter and add 3/4 of a cup of unsweetened cocoa powder. Stir the cocoa powder into the butter until you get like a chocolate butter sauce. Now we need a 1/3 cup of evaporated milk and 3 cups of powdered sugar, but we're gonna alternate them. So pour in a little of the milk and stir that in, then a cup of sugar, and so on until the full 1/3 cup of evaporated milk and all 3 cups of powdered sugar are fully incorporated. Then stand in your kitchen for a minute again until you remember that you need to add a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Stir everything completely until the frosting is smooth and creamy and there are no sugar or cocoa powder lumps anywhere in there. Now for assembly. Start by carefully flipping one of the cakes onto a plate or cake stand. You can see here that one of my cakes did start to break apart when I first flipped it, but it's still perfectly good and the frosting will hold that section together just fine. Spread a thin layer of the chocolate frosting on top of this first cake layer, which is going to give us a protective layer between the cake and the coconut filling so the cake doesn't get soggy. Don't worry about the sides right now, just do the top part. Then spoon on about half of the coconut filling that we made and smooth it out so it's all about the same thickness, but don't go to the very, very edge. Just leave a little bit of space around the sides because we don't want that filling to seep out down the sides of the cake. Now gently place the second cake on top and center it so the cake doesn't look like it's leaning or it's trying to fall over. Then proceed to frost the entire cake, the top and the sides this time. And I used every little bit of the chocolate frosting, and this is some really good frosting, so I didn't want to waste any of it. When the cake is frosted and it looks beautiful and swirly and delicious, spread the rest of the coconut topping on top of the cake. And this time, you can go the whole way to the edge if you want to, because if any starts running down the sides, it would probably look really cool. So blob that stuff on however you want. And here is where you could stop completely if you like, because our cake is done. It is a beautiful and scrumptious German chocolate cake. I mean, I love it, but I also think it's just a little brown. So I added some raspberries to the top for some color, and because raspberries go really well with chocolate and coconut. And on top of that, because it's pretty, and you all know I love pretty food. Oh my gosh, this cake is ridiculous. This is about as soft and tender a cake as I've ever had. The topping, it almost reminds me of a twist on pecan pie, and I just adore pecan pie. The frosting is creamy, it is so chocolatey. The raspberries give everything a nice little pop of fruitiness, and the cake is delightful. So, to everyone with a birthday coming up, happy birthday! And if you don't have a birthday coming up, I hope you make this cake anyway, because you don't need to have a special occasion to make cake. Especially this cake, because it's incredible. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please like and subscribe, leave me a comment, share this with your friends and family. It helps to grow my channel so I can keep making these videos, and this is so much fun. Come and hang out on Wednesdays too, because we're making restaurant food. Restaurant food, fast food, sandwiches, all of your favorite dishes from your favorite places. I love eating at restaurants, getting takeout, all of that, but the prices are so high right now that I just can't with that. So we're gonna learn how to make them at home. And we're starting with Olive Garden salad and breadsticks, so come and check that out this week. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you back here next Sunday for another cozy home-cooked meal. Bye!